She buried her mother at 12, then buried her own eyes. For 10 years, Aria pretended to be blind, because in a wolf kingdom that devours the weak, invisibility was the only mercy. Ironwood territory, stone walls, ancient law. A pack where unmated females are claimed like property. Then the AlphaKing arrives, Rowan, ruthless, watching. Hunting traitors hidden in his own bloodline, he leans close, whispers her name. How does a blind girl know exactly where I'm standing? 10 years of silence shatter in a single breath. A poisoned mother, a best friend who lied. A council rotting from within. Torches burn, wolves howl. A forbidden mate bond ignites under the moon. Everyone underestimated the broken girl. He lifts her chin. I will always see you. What would you give up to survive? Your voice, your freedom. What if you had to give up your sight, not lose it, but pretend you never had it at all? Aria stands in the great stone hall of Ironwood territory. 22 years old, 10 years of perfect performance behind her. Every breath calculated, every stumble rehearsed. The hall smells like cold stone and wolf bodies, and the pine smoke from torches that never quite burn clean. She knows this space better than her own heartbeat. Which tiles dip low enough to catch a careless foot? Which pillars hold warmth from fires that burned all night in the inner chambers? Which shadows fall where? She sees everything. She just makes sure no one knows that morning in Ironwood begins before the sun. Wolves rise with the earth, with the damp smell of soil turning, with low fog rolling off hills that surround the clan den like cupped hands. The stone keep is ancient. Walls thick and dark, carved with old symbols of wolf bloodlines. Moons and fangs and spiraling marks of something older than memory. Pressed into stone by hands long gone to dust. This place is not cruel by nature, just unforgiving, shaped by law, by rank, by customs that decide who holds power and who does not, who is worthy, who is liability in a world like this. Weakness is not inconvenience, it is invitation. Aria moves through the corridor with shoulders soft, head angled down, eyes tracking the ground at her feet with slow, careful focus. The focus of someone who cannot trust what lies ahead. She sees the water basin 10 paces before she reaches it. She pretends not to. Her shoulder catches its rim. She stumbles. Not far, not dramatically. Just enough to make the sound of meshing echo through the quiet morning corridor. A warm hand catches her elbow before she can go sideways. It is always Bryn, 20 years old. Hands gentle. Heart the kind that wolves with power tend to overlook. She guides Aria the rest of the way down the corridor without being asked. One hand loosely at Aria's elbow, steering her around corners she does not need help with, speaking in that low, easy voice about morning duties, about which elders requested warm broth, which fires need restocking, which mid-ranked wolves returned from border patrol last night looking muddy and unsatisfied. Aria listens, absorbs every word, tucks away the details Bryn does not even realize she is sharing. That Elder Aldrich slept poorly, that the Beta's inner circle is restless, that 2 outer scouts returned with injuries from the northern border. Information, all of it useful, all of it freely given because nobody guards their words around the girl who cannot see. That is the real gift of pretending blindness, not what Aria hides from the world, but what the world reveals to her. Bryn's voice drops lower as they pass into the kitchen corridor. Careful, quiet in a way that means something. Garrett was asking about you again. Aria keeps her face blank, soft, a little confused, as though she is still orienting herself to the space inside. Cold, Garrett is one of the pack's stronger mid-ranking wolves. Not an alpha, but powerful enough. Not cruel by nature, but opportunistic in the way many wolves are. He circles unmated females with calculating patience, weighing assets against usefulness, considering which union would benefit him most. He has noticed Aria twice already. Both times she stumbled away from him with such convincing helplessness that he lost interest. But twice becoming 3 is a pattern, and patterns become problems. What did he want? Aria keeps her voice small. He was asking Elder Aldrich whether the moon goddess considers a female unmated if she cannot serve as a proper mate. Whether someone with limitations could still be formally claimed. The cold deepens. Aria understands perfectly what that means. Garrett is not interested in her. He is interested in what she possesses, her mother's old bloodline. The small parcel of territory that technically passed to Aria on her mother's death. Territory she has never formally claimed because claiming it would require stepping forward in ceremony. Being seen, being assessed. She refused it for 10 years. What did Elder Aldrich say? He said the moon goddess does not require a mate to be whole in body. Only in spirit. Aria exhales just barely. I see, she does not let Bryn hear the way her pulse quickens. Not because she fears Garrett specifically, but because she fears the system he represents. The clockwork of wolf society that moves relentlessly, that grinds through individuals like grain through stone. A society where unmated females above a certain age become available, regardless of whether they wish to be mated at all. A society where a man like Garrett can petition an elder and receive a favorable answer simply because tradition allows it. Aria's performance has bought her 10 years of quiet. She is not certain how many more she has left, but what nobody in Ironwood knows, what nobody has ever suspected in all these years, is that Aria is not just surviving, she is hunting. The flashback comes without warning. It always does. Aria is 12 years old. Standing in a small stone room that smells like sickness and wolfsbane, her mother lies on a narrow bed, skin too pale, breathing too shallow. Isla's hands are cold when she reaches up to cup Aria's face. They only claim what they can see, little one. Her mother's voice is barely a whisper. But Aria hears every word. Will hear them for the rest of her life, so never, never let them see you. 3 days later, Isla is dead. The pack says it was infection from a hunting wound, that she caught her leg on a thorn bush during a border run, that the wound went septic despite the healer's best efforts. Aria was 12, but she was not stupid. She smelled the wolfsbane in her mother's wound. Wolfsbane does not grow wild near Ironwood territory. It has to be cultivated, harvested, applied. Someone poisoned her mother, and 12-year-old Aria, trembling in a wolf territory that devoured softness, buried the last person who ever loved her, and made a decision. She would disappear in plain sight, not with magic, not with power, with stillness, with performance, with the kind of patience that becomes its own armor over time. She let her eyes go unfocused, learned to walk slowly, to let her hands trail across walls, to blink too long, to look just past faces rather than into them, practice the art of missing things, dropping cups, tripping on flat ground, pausing at turns she already knew by heart. And wolves believed her, because wolves trusted what their instincts told them. Every instinct in Ironwood territory said the girl with the cloudy stare was broken, nothing worth claiming. That is how Aria survived, not through strength, not through cunning, though she had plenty of it, through the oldest trick in the world. She made herself into something nobody wanted. But survival and safety are two very different things, and as her 10th year of darkness draws toward its end, something is coming that her performance cannot prepare her for. Something that moves like storms move, not with noise, but with pressure. Lunch in the Great Hall is its own kind of performance. Aria sits at the lower tables where the Omegas and servants eat, where no powerful wolf ever looks twice. She eats with careful deliberateness, using both hands to feel the edges of her bowl before dipping her spoon in, occasionally missing the cup she reaches for, just enough clumsiness to be convincing. Elise sits 3 tables over with a group of females, ranked just below the beta's circle. Loud, bright, the kind of beautiful that comes with constant awareness of itself. She laughs too sharply when she looks at Aria. She always laughs too sharply. Poor little blind thing. Can't even see the food she's eating. The table around her laughs. Aria does not react. Keeps her eyes on the middle distance, expression placid, spoon moving in slow arc toward her mouth, inside. She catalogues everything, the slight wobble in Elise's laughter that comes from insecurity rather than cruelty. The way 3 of her companions join in and 2 do not. Which 2? The way the older wolf at the end of that table, a graying female named Marin, looks at Elise with careful neutrality that is not quite disapproval, but not far from it. Aria stores every observation, does not know when it will matter, only knows that everything eventually matters. That evening the great keep buzzes with something new, not loud, not announced, but Aria feels it the way she always feels shifts in the territory, through the bodies around her. Through the way wolves who had been easy-moving all afternoon suddenly become tight-shouldered and sharp-eyed. Through the sudden drop in casual conversation and the rise of quick low murmurs. Through the way Bryn's hand tightens on her elbow without being aware of it. What is it? Aria lets her voice carry just a thread of bewilderment. The right amount for a girl who cannot see faces and has to read moods from breath and sound. Bryn's voice when it comes is almost a breath. Runners came in from the Eastern Pass an hour ago. The AlphaKing sent word that he's coming. In person, Aria goes very still, only on the inside. Outside she lets her brows furrow, lets her face do the mild confusion of someone trying to understand news they have not asked for. The AlphaKing Rowan, Bryn murmurs the name like a prayer. He's coming to investigate the missing caravans. 4 shipments vanished in 8 months. They say he travels with his inner circle. No ceremony, no warning, just presence, just power. Aria processes it quietly. Brawen. She has heard the name since she was small. Everyone has. The Alpha King is not a ceremonial title, it is an earned one. The wolves who hold it are those the moon goddess herself, blessed with something beyond ordinary dominance, something other wolves feel in their bones before they ever see the face that carries it. He is said to be ruthless, said to be perceptive, said to see through things other wolves miss. Aria's stomach turns slow and cold. They only claim what they can see. Her mother's voice says somewhere in memory. She adjusts her hold on Bryn's arm, lets herself look a little lost behind her clouded expression. Aria begins to think very carefully, and she makes herself a promise. Whatever Rowan is, whatever he senses, whatever gifts the moon goddess gave him, he will not see her. She will not allow it. He arrives at dusk. The torches in the great entrance hall have been lit early, all of them, even the high ones that require ladders, that the pack only lights for ceremonies. Their combined light turns the old stone walls amber, makes the shadows underneath sharper than usual, more defined, as though the territory itself is trying to look its best. Aria is positioned at the side of the hall, carved stone column at her back, clay pot of water in her hands that she is meant to be carrying somewhere. She chose the position deliberately. Peripheral, functional, unremarkable. A girl with a water pot standing quietly where nobody will pay her attention. She watches through lowered lashes. Braun enters the way storms enter, not with noise, but with pressure. The quality of air changes when he crosses the threshold. Wolves nearest the entrance shift, not dramatically, not with obvious reaction, but with small involuntary adjustments of bodies registering dominance. Shooters turn slightly inward. Chests drop a fraction. Eyes drop to middle distance rather than forward. He is not especially tall. Aria notices that first because she expected tall from the stories. He is built like a wolf who earned his body rather than was born into it. Broad through the shoulder, sharp at the jaw, moving with specific unhurried confidence of something that knows nothing in the room will challenge it. His hair is dark. His coat is plain. No ceremonial markings. No symbols of office, as though the office follows him rather than the other way around. And his eyes move. That is the thing that sends Aria's attention sharpening. Most dominant wolves scan a room once and settle. Look for threats. Register absence of them. That is enough. Rowan's eyes move continuously, not nervously, the opposite of nervously. With slow, thorough interest of something that is always learning, they sweep the high corners. Track the side corridors. Catalog faces not with assessment of rank, but with something more specific, more personal, as though he is reading each person rather than filing them. His gaze sweeps the hall. Then it stops. Aria feels the moment it finds her the way she feels heat, not on her skin, somewhere underneath it. She keeps her eyes at mid-level, directed at nothing, doing the specific unfocused stare she has spent years perfecting. Does not look directly at him, but she feels him looking directly at her. The moment stretches. Then his gaze moves on and the pressure eases. Aria exhales through her nose, so slowly it makes no sound at all. Pack Alpha Brennan greets Rowan with the proper formal lowering of chin. Traditional gesture of tetratory recognition leads him toward inner meeting chambers. The entourage follows. Rowan's inner circle is small, 4 wolves, all carrying themselves with controlled ease of those who have nothing to prove. Aria counts them as they pass, notes their positions relative to Rowan, notes the one who walks slightly behind and to his left. Female, sharp-eyed, the kind of beautiful that comes with danger. Files that detail away. She moves through the rest of the evening doing what she always does, listening. Learning, the pack speaks freely around her as they always do. Wolves at upper tables discuss Rowan's reputation in quick, tense murmurs. He settled 3 border disputes in the past moon cycle, removed 2 alpha titles, not by fighting himself, but by presenting evidence of corruption so thorough that clan councils stripped the titles without bloodshed. He is said to have an instinct for deception that makes experienced liars sweat in his presence. Aria keeps her water pot very still in her hands. She does not encounter him directly that first evening. She planned carefully enough to avoid it. Retires early to her quarters. Small stone room near the back of servant corridor that she has occupied since her mother's death. Not comfortable, but private. Privacy is worth more than comfort in a wolf territory. She lies on her sleeping mat and stares at the dark ceiling. Thinks about the way his gaze stopped on her. Just a pause. Just a breath's length of attention. But it had not felt like the way other wolves looked at her. With brief dismissive glance they gave to anything ranked below them. To anything already categorized as harmless. It felt like recognition. Aria presses her fingers flat against her sternum, where her heartbeat is still slightly faster than usual. He looked at everyone. He is cautious, Thorough. That is all. She mostly believes it, lies still for a long time, does not sleep for a long time when she finally does. She dreams of amber torchlight and eyes that moved as though searching for something specific. Morning comes cold. Aria moves through her early duties with the same measured, careful rhythm she always uses. Trails fingers along walls, hesitates at doorways. Lets Bryn guide her across the main courtyard when the pack gathers for morning address. The daily ritual where Pack Alpha Brennan or his beta speaks the day's matters aloud, assigns duties, addresses pressing territory concerns. Rowan stands to the left of Brennan during the address. He does not speak, he observes. Aria stands at the back of gathered wolves, head slightly bowed, eyes tracking the ground at her feet, counts seconds, breathes slowly, feels the moment his attention finds her again. It is not something she can explain precisely. It is a shift in quality of space between them, a sharpening, a focus, the way a room feels different when a candle is turned in a specific direction. She has lived in a wolf territory long enough to know what dominance feels like in the air. This is not quite that. It is more specific, more personal. She forces herself to stay soft, to stay performing. The address ends. Wolves disperse. Aria turns to follow Bryn Yu. The word is not loud. It does not need to be. It carries the weight that command always carries, not through volume, but through certainty. Aria does not look up immediately, counts 2 full beats, long enough for it to be believable that she is determining whether the word is directed at her. Then she turns her face toward the sound, aiming slightly to the left of where he actually stands, the way a person relying only on hearing would aim. The girl, Rowan says to the wolf beside him rather than to her directly. Bring her to the consultation room before midday meal. Aria lets nothing show on her face. Inside, every part of her goes quiet and sharp and ready. She is brought to the consultation room, chamber off the main hall with long stone table and torch brackets along walls. Formal enough for meetings, private enough for other things. Aria counts steps from corridor entrance, 16 steps. 1 slight downward grade. Stone floor older than outer corridor. Seam of rougher material running across it at the 9-step mark. She knows this room. Cleaned it many times, enters it now with head slightly ducked, hands loose at her sides, eyes doing the long slow blink of someone relying on senses other than sight. Rowan is standing when she enters. She feels that, does not look, hears him move. Single deliberate step, then stillness. Sit. She finds the chair with her hands, sits, folds hands in her lap for a moment. Nothing, then she hears him move again, not toward her, to her left, slow, deliberate footstep placement of someone doing something on purpose. He is testing her. Aria keeps her eyes on the wall directly ahead, keeps breathing even. He moves to her right. She does not track him. He comes to stand directly behind her, close enough that she can feel warmth of living body, displacing cool air of chamber. Close enough that low, even sound of his breathing is just barely audible. He leans in, not touching, not quite. His voice comes very near her ear. Tell me, Aria, how does a girl who cannot see know exactly where someone is standing before they make a sound? Aria's pulse throws itself against her ribs. She moved only once, just a fraction. Slight lean of her body away from his voice before she caught herself. Less than a breath of movement. Barely measurable, but he saw it. She feels the exact moment he understands what it means. She raises her face, looks at him directly, fully, for the first time in 10 years. Aria looks at someone without a wall of performance between them. Finds Rowan looking back at her with eyes that are steady and sharp, and not at all surprised. The silence between them fills the whole stone room. You are not blind. It is not a question. Aria says nothing. He steps around the chair until he is in front of her, takes her chin between his fingers. Not roughly, not gently, just with certainty that makes resistance feel beside the point. Tilts her face upward, looks at her eyes. The ones she has been hiding behind for 10 years. You have been hiding. His thumb moves once, slow, pressing briefly against her lower lip before releasing. It is not threatening. Not innocent either. It is the touch of a wolf who just found something unexpected and is deciding what to do about it. Why? Aria looks at him for a long, full breath. Then she says, because the world is safer when it thinks I have nothing to offer. He does not expose her. That is the first surprise. He could. He should. By any law, Aria knows. Deceiving pack members, deceiving an alpha and an elder council. That is an offense that carries formal punishment. He has the authority, the evidence, the audience, to make an example of her before the entire Ironwood territory. Instead, he releases her chin, steps back, crosses his arms. I came here to investigate missing caravans. 4 shipments, 8 months, no bodies. No wreckage, no trace. Aria waits, the council blames bandits, but bandits leave evidence. Scattered supplies, broken carts, bodies. He tilts his head. These caravans disappeared cleanly, which means organization, resources, inside knowledge. You think someone in Ironwood is working with outsiders. I know someone is, I just do not know who. And you think I can help you. You have been invisible for 10 years, watching, listening, gathering information no one realizes you have. Aria's throat tightens because he is right. You want me to spy for you. I want you to continue doing what you have already been doing, except now. You report to me, and in exchange, I keep your secret, protect you from Garrett's petition, and help you find out what really happened to your mother. Aria's breath catches. How did you know? I did not. Until just now, he leans against the table, but I suspected. A girl does not fake blindness for a decade without reason, and the only reason strong enough is survival, or vengeance. His eyes are too knowing. Which is it? Both. Aria straightens in her chair. I will help you. On one condition, name it. When we find who killed my mother. I get to be there when you bring them down. Rowan studies her for a long moment, then extends his hand. Deal, she takes it. His grip is warm, firm. The handshake of equals, and for the first time in 10 years. Aria feels something shift, not fear, not performance, but possibility. One of Rowan's inner circle comes to Aria's quarters the next morning, the sharp-eyed female. Kira, she delivers the news with flat efficiency of someone handling routine orders. You have been reassigned. Effective immediately. You will serve as the AlphaKing's personal attendant during his stay in Ironwood territory. Aria keeps her face carefully neutral. Personal attendant, yes. You will accompany him to all meetings, inspections, meals, public and private functions. For how long? Until he decides otherwise. Kira's eyes are assessing. Not hostile, but not warm either. He does not explain his choices to me, or to anyone. She turns to leave. Pauses at the door. Whatever arrangement you have with him, do not make me regret not questioning it. Then she is gone. Aria sits on the edge of her sleeping mat processing. Personal attendant means proximity, constant visibility, no more hiding in corners, no more peripheral observation. It means every wolf in Ironwood will see her at Rowan's side. Will wonder why, will speculate. She understands the strategy. Dryan is not just keeping her close to use her intelligence, he is protecting her, making her visible in a way that makes her untouchable. Because no one will dare petition to claim the AlphaKing's personal attendant, not without risking his displeasure. Clever Aria changes into cleaner clothes, braids her hair back, washes her face in the basin, looks at herself in the small piece of polished metal that serves as mirror. She has not really looked at her own reflection in years, always avoided it, because seeing herself, really seeing herself, made the performance harder to maintain. Now she studies her face, 22 years old, features neither beautiful nor plain, eyes that are clear, sharp, intelligent, the eyes she has been hiding. She practices the unfocused stare one more time, then lets it drop. No more performing, not with Rowan, not in private. She takes a breath and steps out into her new role. The first day in Rowan's service is careful choreography. Aria maintains her performance perfectly in public, walking with slight hesitation when other wolves are watching, keeping her eyes unfocused during the morning council session, allowing Kira to guide her through doorways when pack members are present. But in the consultation room, when it is just Rowan and his inner circle, she drops the act, walks normally, looks directly at maps spread on the table, speaks with clear, confident voice. The transformation is jarring. Thorn, the older scarred wolf, watches her with open suspicion so she can see. Yes. And you have been pretending for how long? 10 years, he grunts. Why? Aria meets his skeptical gaze without flinching, because being seen as weak was the only way to survive. Thorn exchanges a look with Kira. Ron interrupts before anyone can question further. Aria has information about the pack that we cannot get through official channels. Servants, Omegas, the invisible people. He gestures for her to approach the table. Tell them what you told me. About the caravans. Aria steps forward, points to the map. 4 caravans, all carrying grain and salted meat to northern outposts. All vanished between here and the ridge. Marcus, one of the soldier wolves, leans in. We know this already. What you do not know is that Elder Aldrich personally approved each caravan route, each guard assignment, each departure time. So 3 wolves who worked under Aldrich in supply management have also disappeared in the past year. Not from the caravans. From inside Ironwood, the room goes quiet. Jorn, the other soldier, frowns. You think Aldrich is involved? I think someone on the Elder Council is meeting people outside pack territory regularly. and I think they are coordinating these disappearances. Proof. Aria hesitates. None that would hold up in formal trial. Just patterns. Observations. Kira's expression is unreadable. That is not enough, no. But it is a starting point. Ron taps the map, then we get proof. Tonight, we follow Aldrich. That afternoon, Rowan takes Aria on inspection of the territory's outer markers. It is ostensibly to assess defensive positions. Really, it is an excuse to talk privately. They walk through the forest. 2 steps apart. Close enough to speak without being overheard. Far enough to maintain propriety. Aria still performs when they pass scouts on patrol, stumbling slightly. Letting Rowan guide her around roots and stones, but once they are alone, she moves with full confidence. This is what you really move like. Rowan's voice carries something between observation and approval. Yes, it is. Impressive. Aria glances at him. Most people say terrifying when they realize how much I see. I am not most people. No, you are not. They walk in silence for a while, then Rowan stops. Aria nearly walks into him. Her hand comes up reflexively, presses flat against his back. The contact sends heat through her palm. Even through the heavy material of his coat, she withdraws quickly. Forgive me, no need. He turns to face her, close enough that she has to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. That was instinct, not performance. Yes, good. I need to know when you are being yourself, and when you are pretending. How will you tell the difference? Your breathing changes. Very slightly. When you perform, Aria blinks. You notice that? I notice everything about you. The words hang in the air between them. Not flirtatious, just factual. Why? Because you are either the best asset I have ever had, or the most dangerous liability. His eyes search hers. I have not decided which yet. Aria's pulse quickens, and when you do decide, then I will know whether to keep you close, or let you go. She holds his gaze. I am not going anywhere. We will see. He steps back, breaking the moment. Come. We should return before dark. They walk back in silence, but Aria feels his attention on her the entire way. Constant. Assessing. Waiting for what? She is not certain. Only that whatever test this is, she intends to pass it. They leave 2 hours past midnight. Rowan tells his inner circle he is conducting solo reconnaissance. Aria slips out through the servant's entrance, meets him at the tree line beyond the outer wall. She is not performing now. Moves with full confidence of someone who can see perfectly in the dark. Who knows every root and stone on this path? Ren notices. You know this route. My mother used to bring me here. Before she died, to the cottage near it. There is a stream. She taught me to fish there. Aria's voice softens. It was the only place we could be alone, away from pack politics. Just as they move through the forest in silence, Aria leading Rowan 3 paces behind. The night is cold, clear. Moon 3/4 full and bright enough to cast shadows through pine canopy. After 30 minutes they reach the ridge. Aria stops. Holds up a hand below them in the hollow. The old shepherd's cottage barely visible through the trees. And there, lamplight in the window, someone is inside. Rowan moves up beside her, his shoulder brushing hers. How many? Aria closes her eyes, listens. 2, maybe 3. They descend the ridge, moving from tree to tree. Using shadows, reach the cottage. Press against the stone wall beside the shuttered window. Voices inside, low, urgent. Aria recognizes one immediately. Elder Aldrich. Rowan's jaw tightens. The second voice is unfamiliar. Male, older, accent from somewhere west. The shipment will arrive as scheduled. 4 wagons, same route as before. And the guards, replaced with your people. They will ensure no complications. Aria's blood goes cold. They are not just stealing supplies, they are replacing entire guard units. Payment will be transferred after confirmation. Same terms as before. The Blackstone Alpha is pleased with your service, Aldrich. Pleased enough to consider more permanent arrangements once Ironwood's defenses are sufficiently weakened. Rowan's hand finds her wrist. Gentle pressure. Time to go. But Aria's attention snags on something else. A third voice, female, younger. Just barely audible through the wall. My father expects results. Not excuses. Rowan freezes. That voice, Aria knows it too, because she heard it just this afternoon, in the great hall, loving with Elise and her circle, Bryn. They do not speak until they are back across the ridge deep in the forest, far enough that sound will not carry. Then Aria stops, turns. Bryn, her voice cracks on the name. My friend. My only friend. Rowan's expression is carefully neutral. The third voice mentioned a father. The Blackstone Alpha, which means Bryn is not who she claimed to be. Aria's chest feels tight, not a low-ranked Ironwood wolf, but a plant, a spy sent to watch, gather information, and she chose me because you were invisible. You saw everything, heard everything. Aria's hands clench into fists. I fed her intelligence for years without even knowing it. Yes, she trusted me, no. She used your Rowan's voice is not unkind. But it is firm, trust requires honesty. What Bryn gave you was performance. Just like what I gave everyone else. Not the same, why not? Because you were surviving. She was infiltrating. Aria looks away. The distinction feels thin. Rowan steps closer. Listen to me. You hid to protect yourself. She hid to harm others. Those are not equivalent. But I should have seen it. Should have known. How? She was trained for this. Just like you were trained to be invisible. He reaches out. His hand settling on her shoulder. You are not responsible for her deception. Then why does it feel like I am? Because betrayal always feels personal. Even when it is strategic, Aria meets his eyes. What do we do now? We use it. Dawn breaks cold and Greywen, summons his inner circle immediately. They gather in the consultation room. Kira, Thorn, Marcus. Jorn, all of them grim-faced when Rowan lays out what they discovered. Aldrich is selling information to Blackstone, replacing our guard units with their operatives, weakening our defenses from within. Thorn slams his fist on the table. That is treason, yes. We arrest him. Now no, everyone turns to Aria. She steps forward. If we arrest Aldrich now, Blackstone will know their operation is compromised. They will cut losses, pull out their operatives. We will never know the full extent of infiltration. Kira's eyes narrow. What do you suggest? We let them think it is working. We identify all of Blackstone's people. Then we take them all down at once. That is risky, yes, but it is thorough. Everyone nods. She is right. We need to know everyone involved. Not just Aldrich. Marcus crosses his arms. And how do we identify Blackstone operatives without tipping them off? Aria looks at Rowan. We use Bryn. Explain. She does not know I heard her at the cottage. As far as she is concerned, I am still the helpless blind girl she has been using. So you keep feeding her information. Except now. We control what information. Exactly. We feed her false intelligence. Watch who acts on it. Map the network. Jorn shakes his head. You are asking her to maintain her performance, while knowing her best friend is a spy. I have been performing for 10 years. I can manage a few more weeks. Thorn studies her. You are certain you can do this? Aria's voice does not waver. I am certain. I want to finish what my mother started. Aldrich killed her because she discovered corruption. Now I am going to expose everything she died trying to stop. The room is silent, then Kira speaks. If we do this, if we run a counter-operation, we commit to seeing it through. No hesitation, no mercy. Understood. Drotrun looks at each of them in turn. We have one chance to do this right. We map every operative, every connection, every weakness in their network, then we burn it down. That morning Bryn comes to Aria's quarters as always. Warm smile. Gentle hands. Aria. Are you well? You look tired. Every instinct screams to confront her, to demand answers, to rage at the betrayal. Instead, Aria performs perfectly. Lets her face do the soft confusion. The mild distress of someone who slept poorly. Bad dreams. Bryn's hand settles on her shoulder, warm. Comforting, the touch of a friend. Aria wants to break every finger. Instead, she says, "Thank you for checking on me," and means, "I know what you are." Bryn guides her through morning routines, chattering about pack gossip, about which wolves are courting, which elders are arguing, which scouts returned injured from patrol. All of it useless information, designed to make Aria feel included, valued, while Bryn extracts the intelligence that actually matters. How is your service with the AlphaKing going? There it is, the real question. It is strange. He asks me to attend all his meetings, but I cannot see what is happening. What do you hear? Aria pauses, as if considering whether to share. He talks with his inner circle about supply routes, defensive positions, but I do not understand much of it. Bryn's hand tightens slightly on her elbow. Does he mention the missing caravans? Sometimes. He thinks bandits are responsible. Aria keeps her voices innocent. Is that not what everyone thinks? Bryn's smile does not quite reach her eyes. Of course. What else could it be? They walk in silence for a moment. Then Bryn speaks again. If you hear anything important, anything that seems unusual, you can tell me. I will help you understand. I will. Thank you. Aria lets herself be guided into the great hall, and as Bryn releases her elbow, Aria thinks, you have no idea what is coming. The afternoon council session is carefully orchestrated theater. Wren and Brennan have coordinated in advance. What the gathered wolves will witness is a disagreement about how to handle the missing caravans. Brennan argues for increased patrols, more guards on supply routes. Traditional defensive measures. Rowan argues that the problem is internal, that someone inside Ironwood is compromising security. The council erupts into argument. Elder Aldrich plays his part perfectly. This is absurd. You are suggesting one of us is a traitor. I am suggesting someone is selling information. Whether they sit on this council or not, Aldrich's face flushes. You come into our territory, make accusations, undermine our leadership. I come to investigate. And what I find is a pattern of incompetence. Or complicity. Brennan's voice cuts through the chaos. We will investigate internally. Quietly. Without accusing honored members of this council based on speculation. Rowan stands, as you wish. But when more wolves disappear, the blood will be on your hands. He walks out. The council buzzes with reaction. Aria, standing near the doorway in her blind girl performance, listens, and notes which wolves defend Aldrich most vigorously. Which wolves question Rowan's methods. Which wolves say nothing at all, building her map, piece by piece. Later that evening, in the consultation room, she reports everything to Rowan. Elder Garrett spoke in Aldrich's defense, but his words felt obligatory, not passionate. Ron makes a note. Anyone else, 3 beta wolves. All part of Aldrich's inner circle. They were more emotional, more defensive, likely compromised, or afraid of being associated with him if he falls. Aria tilts her head. There is a difference. Yes. And we need to know which. He looks at the growing list of names. We are building a web. But we do not yet know how many spiders are in it. How long do we wait? Until Blackstone makes their next move. They will want to confirm the guard replacement for the next caravan. That meeting will reveal more of their network. And if they do not meet again, they will. They have invested too much to stop now. Aria studies the map. All those names. All those wolves who might be traitors. Some of them she has served meals to. Cleaned rooms for. Listened to gossip with. How do you do this? Do what? Suspect everyone. Treat every interaction as potential deception. Rowan looks at her. The same way you survived for 10 years. You assume nothing. Trust cautiously. Verify everything. That sounds exhausting. It is. Then why do it? Because the alternative is letting guilty people destroy innocent ones. He stands. Moves to the window. I have seen what happens when corruption goes unchecked. Entire territories fall. Not through conquest. Through rot from within. And you think Ironwood is rotting. I think Blackstone is trying to make it rot. Whether they succeed depends on how fast we cut out the infected parts. Aria joins him at the window, outside. The territory is settling into evening. Torches being lit. Wolves returning from patrols. It looks peaceful. It is not, no. But it could be. If we do this right, if. When Rowan glances at her. You are very certain. I am very determined. There is a difference. He almost smiles. Yes, I am learning that about you. They stand in silence, watching the territory, preparing for the war that most of Ironwood does not yet know, is already here. Aldrich's execution happens at dawn. The entire pack gathers in the central courtyard. Stone walls still dark with night. Sky beginning to pale at the edges. Aria stands with Rowan at the front, no longer hiding at the back, no longer invisible. Every wolf can see her now, and she can see them seeing her. It should feel like victory. It does not, because the path to this moment was paved with weeks of careful deception, of watching Bryn's face every day, pretending not to know, feeding false information, building the trap, and when it finally sprung, when Rowan's people arrested Aldrich during his next midnight meeting, when they brought him back in chains with evidence so damning, even the Elder Council could not deny it, Bryn disappeared, fled into the night before they could take her, and that sits in Aria's chest like something rotting. Aldrich is brought out in chains, his face hollow, eyes wild. He scans the crowd, finds Aria. This is your fault. You poisoned them against me. No, you poisoned yourself. I just made sure everyone could see it. Brennan reads the charges. Treason, murder, conspiracy with enemy forces. Aldrich does not deny them anymore, just weeps. The executioner's blade falls clean. One stroke. The pack does not cheer, does not celebrate, just watches in grim silence as the body is carried away. Because this is not triumph. This is reminder that even elders can fall, that trust can be weaponized, that the enemy is not always outside the walls. Sometimes they sit at your council table. Rowan's hand finds the small of Aria's back, warm. Steady. Are you well? I do not know what I am. That is fair. They walk back to the keep together. The pack parts for them. Some wolves lower their eyes in respect. Others stare openly. At the girl who was broken but was not. At the girl who saw everything while pretending to see nothing. Aria feels their gazes like weight. 10 years of invisibility. Gone in a single trial. She is not certain this is better. That afternoon, Rowan calls emergency session. Not full council, just his inner circle, plus Elder Marin. The one elder they are certain is not compromised. They spread maps across the table. Lists of names recovered from Aldrich's quarters. 17 wolves. 17 Blackstone operatives embedded throughout Ironwood territory. Marin stares at the list with something like horror. 17. How did we not see this? Because they were chosen specifically to be invisible, Darwin taps 3 names. These 3 are in critical positions: armory, watchtowers, supply depot. We take them first quietly. And the others, we watch them, map their connections, feed them false information through the channels Aldrich was using. You want to run a counter-operation. I want to make Blackstone think they are still winning. Right up until we cut their throats. The arrests happened that night. 3 teams. 3 targets. Aria goes with Rowan's team. To the armory, the operative there is a wolf named Silas. Mid-30s, broad-shouldered. Looks like he could break Aria in half. He does not resist when they come for him. Just looks at Rowan with tired eyes. Took you long enough. You knew we were coming. I knew someone would come eventually. Figured it would be you. Why did you do it? Silas laughs. Hollow, they have my daughter. Took her 2 years ago during a border skirmish. Said they would return her if I cooperated, and you believed them. I had to. She is 8 years old. Rowan's expression does not change. Where is she now? If I knew that, I would not be here. I would be burning Blackstone to the ground. A pause. Help us. Tell us everything, and we will find your daughter. Silas's eyes narrow. You cannot promise that. No, but I can promise to try, which is more than Blackstone ever gave you. Silas looks at Aria, the blind girl. Except you are not blind. No, you have been watching all of us. Yes, did you see my fear? Did you see me breaking every day? Aria's voice softens. I saw a man who brought extra firewood to the Omega quarters in winter, who repaired weapons for scouts without being asked, who looked at the northern hills like he was searching for something. She pauses. I saw a father. Silas breaks, not crying, but something close. I will help you. Tell you everything, just, please, find her. We will. The information Silas provides is devastating. Blackstone has been planning this for 3 years, not months. Years systematically embedding operatives, mapping defenses, creating dependencies. The goal: total annexation of Ironwood territory. Why? Silas spreads a map on the table. Water. Ironwood sits on the largest freshwater source in the Northern Territories. Blackstone has been in drought for 5 years. Their wells are running dry. They need our water. And they are willing to destroy us to get it. Not destroy, absorb. They want the territory intact, the infrastructure functional. He taps several locations. They plan to install a puppet council. Make it look like Ironwood chose to merge. Avoid the political fallout of open conquest. Adrian's jaw tightens. Then we give them exactly what they want to see. What do you mean? We stage a coup. Make it look like Ironwood is fracturing. That Brennan's leadership is failing. That wolves are desperate for outside help. You want to convince them to move early. I want to make them overconfident. Rush their timeline. Make mistakes. The next week is careful theater. Staged arguments in council chambers. Loud enough for servants to overhear. Servants who report to the remaining Blackstone operatives. Brennan and Rowan publicly disagreeing about how to handle Aldrich's execution. Elder Marin calling for new elections. Beta wolves circulating petitions. All of it scripted. All of it designed to make Blackstone think Ironwood is eating itself alive. Aria plays her part. The girl who was blind but is not. The girl some wolves see as hero. Others as liar. She moves through the keep listening. Noting which wolves believe the performance. Which wolves suspect theater. Feeding information back to Rowan each night. This is exhausting, yes. How much longer? Until Blackstone makes their move. And if they do not take the bait, they will. They have invested too much to walk away now. 3 weeks after Aldrich's execution. It happens. Blackstone sends formal message. They wish to negotiate a merger between territories. Brennan brings the message to council. The room erupts exactly as planned. Elder Marin arguing for acceptance. Other elders opposing. The vote is close. But it carries. Ironwood agrees to meet. Neutral territory. 1 week from now, and the trap is set. The week passes in tense preparation. Rowan's people identify the meeting location. A clearing in the forest between Ironwood and Blackstone lands. They scout it. Map escape routes. Position hidden archers in the trees. Because Rowan does not trust Blackstone to come in good faith, and he is right not to. The night before the meeting. Aria finds him on the eastern wall, staring out at the dark forest. Are you afraid? Yes, of what? Of being wrong. Of getting people killed. Of the moment when the plan falls apart. You did not miscalculate. You cannot know that. No, but I know you, and you do not make choices lightly. He looks at her. How do you do it? Do what? Trust so easily. After Bryn. After everything. I do not trust easily. I trust selectively. And you selected me. Yes, why? Because you kept my secret when you could have exposed me. Because you offered partnership instead of ownership. She turns to face him fully. Because you see me. Not the broken girl, not the useful asset. Me. His hand comes up to cup her face, thumb brushing across her cheekbone. I will always see you. Then he kisses her, not gentle this time, not questioning, certain, claiming. And Aria, who has spent 10 years keeping everyone at distance, lets herself fall. The mate bond that has been stirring for weeks ignites. Not magic, not destiny, just recognition. This person, this partnership, this choice when they break apart. Breathing hard. If we survive this, we will. You cannot promise that. No, but I can fight like hell to make it true. She laughs. Shaky, that will have to be enough. The next day dawns cold and bright. Brennan leads the Ironwood delegation, Marin at his side. 3 beta wolves as guard. Rian and his inner circle hang back. Hidden in the tree line, Aria crouches beside him, heart hammering, because this is it. The moment everything either works or falls apart. Blackstone's delegation arrives from the west. Their alpha, a massive wolf named Cain, graying at the temples, eyes like flint. His daughter walks beside him, and Aria's breath stops, because she recognizes that face. Sable, not one of Elise's friends, but someone Aria has seen in the servant corridors, carrying water, sweeping floors, another plant. Another spy positioned even lower than Bryn, watching the watchers. Sable's eyes sweep the clearing, stop on the tree line where Aria hides. Their gazes meet, and Sable smiles. She knows the delegations meet in center of clearing. Cain speaks first. We come in good faith, to discuss terms that benefit both our territories. What terms? Merger. Ironwood becomes Western Province of Blackstone. You maintain local governance. We provide military support and resource sharing. And what do you get? Access as to your water source. Patrol rights along your borders. Shared intelligence. You want everything. We want partnership. Brennan glances at Marin. She nods. As scripted, we are willing to negotiate. But we have conditions. Name them. All current Ironwood leadership remains in place. No Blackstone wolves in our council chambers. Cain smiles. Acceptable. For now, then we have terms. Brennan extends his hand. Cain takes it. And that is the signal. Drotwan steps out from the tree line, surrounded by 50 Ironwood wolves armed. Ready. Cain's smile vanishes. What is this? This is a reckoning. Rowan's voice carries across the clearing. You infiltrated our territory, killed our people, tried to steal our sovereignty. Cain's hand moves to his weapon. Every Blackstone wolf mirrors the motion. Ironwood wolves surge forward, surrounding the clearing, cutting off escape. Cain looks at Brennan. You were supposed to be weak. We were. Until we decided to stop being prey. Brennan's eyes are hard. You underestimated us. Drowan steps closer. This is not just between Ironwood and Blackstone anymore. He pulls out a document signed by 4 neighboring territories, declaring Blackstone's infiltration an act of aggression. You are not fighting one territory. You are fighting an alliance. Cain pales. So I will give you a choice. Rowan's voice is cold. Withdraw every operative from Ironwood. Return every hostage. Pay reparations, or we wipe Blackstone from the map. Divide your territory. Scatter your people. The silence is absolute then. Sable speaks. Father. Accept his terms. Cain whirls on her. You would have me surrender. I would have you survive. She looks at Rowan. We have lost, completely. There is no path forward that does not end in our destruction, unless we surrender now. Cain looks at his daughter, at Rowan, at the 50 armed wolves. Finally, he bows his head. We accept your terms. The hostages are returned over the next week. 17 wolves, held in Blackstone cells for months, some for years. Among them, a small girl with dark hair and frightened eyes. Silas's daughter. He collapses when he sees her, sobbing, clutching her like she might vanish. Aria watches from the keep entrance, feels something loosen in her chest, because some stories get to have happy endings. Even in Rowan joins her. You were right. She was alive, barely. They were planning to execute the hostages next month. He watches Silas and his daughter. Sometimes I hate being right. Aria leans against him. You saved her. That is what matters. I used him and he will forgive you. Because you brought her home, will he? Yes. How do you know? Because I would. Silas approaches them later that evening. His daughter is sleeping. First real sleep in 2 years according to the healers. He stops in front of Rowan. I do not have words. You do not need them. No, I do. Silas's voice cracks. You kept your promise. When you had no reason to. When I was your enemy. You were never my enemy. You were a father doing what fathers do. Drowan's expression softens, protecting their children. No matter the cost. Silas looks at Aria. And, you saw me. Really saw me. When everyone else just saw a traitor, I saw someone in pain. Someone trying to survive an impossible situation. She reaches out, squeezes his arm. You are not a traitor. You are Silas survivor. Silas nods, unable to speak, then turns and walks back to his daughter. Derayan watches him go. That was kind. It was true. Both can be true. Aria looks up at him. You know. For someone with a reputation for ruthlessness, you are surprisingly decent. Do not let that get around. It will ruin my image. She laughs. Your secret is safe with me. The closing moon ceremony happens 3 weeks after Blackstone's surrender. The entire pack gathers under open sky, torches burning. Stars bright overhead. Aria stands with Rowan at the center. Not hiding, not pretending, just present. Brennan speaks to the assembled wolves. We have endured, we have fought, we have survived, and we are here tonight not because we are strong, but because we chose to be. He looks at Aria, this wolf. This girl who we dismissed as broken, who we ignored as powerless. She saved us. Not through strength, not through dominance, but through patience, through intelligence, through seeing what we could not. The pack is silent. Brennan continues. Aria, daughter of Isla, you are hereby granted full status as blooded member of Ironwood, with all rights and privileges, including the right to claim your mother's territory. Aria steps forward. I claim my bloodline, not for power, not for status, but to honor my mother, who died protecting wolves who did not even know they needed protecting. Her voice strengthens. And I claim it so that no one else has to hide what they are to survive. The pack howls approval, then Rowan speaks. I came to Ironwood to investigate corruption. I found something more. He turns to Aria. I found a partner, someone who sees what I cannot, who challenges me, who makes me better. Pause, and if she will have me, I would ask her to continue this partnership. Permanently. Aria's breath catches, because this is not magical mate bond declaration. This is choice, freely offered, freely given, not as your subject, no, not as someone you are claiming. Never. His eyes are steady on hers, as my equal, my partner, the person I choose, and who I hope chooses me. Aria looks at him, at this wolf who kept her secret, who trusted her intelligence, who saw her. I choose you. The pack howls again, louder this time, because this is not claiming, this is recognition. Two people, choosing each other. Rowan kisses her under the moon, and Aria, who spent 10 years hiding, finally lets herself be seen. The mate bond settles between them. Not magic that forces connection, but recognition of something that was already there. Partnership, trust, choice. When they break apart, Rowan whispers, you are terrifying. You know that. Good. I would not have it any other way. Neither would I. 6 months later, Aria stands in the capital with Rowan. She works as his official intelligence advisor now. Not servant, not attendant, equal to partner. They review case files for their next investigation. A territory to the south reporting similar infiltration patterns. Here and here, they are creating dependency before moving in, just like Blackstone. Yes, so we cut them off early. Exactly. Rowan closes the file. But first, you wanted to visit your mother. They travel back to Ironwood, to the small cemetery where Isla is buried. Aria kneels, places flowers on the stone, speaks quietly. You taught me to hide, but you also taught me I would know when hiding was enough. Tears slip down her face. I am done hiding, Mama. I am using everything you taught me to make sure no one else has to. She stands. Rowan's hand finds hers. She is proud of you. How do you know? Because I am. They walk back through Ironwood territory, past wolves who nod in respect, who acknowledge her, not as the blind girl, as Aria, intelligence officer, advisor, partner, the girl who saw everything while the world thought she saw nothing, and that, Aria thinks as she walks with Rowan toward whatever comes next, is a different kind of strength entirely. How often do we judge people for surviving in ways we do not understand? How often do we punish adaptation, resourcefulness, the ability to make yourself small until it is safe to be large? Aria's story is not about deception. It is about intelligence weaponized for survival. It is about knowing when to hide and when to reveal. It is about understanding that power is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, patient, waiting for exactly the right moment. She did not lie to hurt anyone. She lied to stay alive long enough to expose the truth. And in the end, that truth saved everyone. So perhaps the question is not whether her deception was justified. Perhaps the question is why she had to deceive at all. Why being seen as weak was the only way to stay safe. Why a 12-year-old girl had to build armor out of performance. Why the world demanded she be broken and punished her for being whole. Aria's survival was not weakness. It was strategy. And if you have ever had to hide who you really are to survive, if you have ever performed helplessness to avoid harm, if you have ever waited years for the right moment to finally be seen, this story is for you. You are not broken. You are brilliant. And someday, someone will see you, not the version you perform, but the real you. And when that happens, you will realize you were never weak. You were just waiting for the right moment, for the right person, for the right time to stop hiding. Is manipulation wrong if it is the only power you have? Or is it just survival? Have you ever had to hide your strength to stay safe? Or have you found someone who saw the real you? Share your story in the comments below. Because everyone deserves to be recognized, not claimed, not saved, but seen for exactly who they are.